Hey guys, it's Di from BeingMommywithStyle, and we are back from our most recent Disney vacation. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching all of those Disney vlogs. I will link the whole playlist down below so you can catch that. And today I wanted to do another Disney recap talking about our trip. If you have had a chance to watch all of those different videos from the trip where we show our experiences dining and riding rides and doing different activities around the resort, I think you can probably already assess that this was a really good trip. So we were excited to share this one. I was really looking forward to trying out the resort, and I thought that this was just going to be a really great fit, and I'm excited to say that it was. So let's dive in and talk a little bit about our visit to Disney's Beach Club Resort. So first of all, this is just kind of be an overview of our whole experience. I'm going to do a specific Disney dining review video, really talking about the nitty-gritty of the different restaurants, some of the dishes we ordered. And one neat thing that we did do this time, and we've tried to do the past couple times, is we tried to try new dining. And on this trip specifically, we tried a new restaurant or new meal seating for a restaurant every single day. So each day we were eating someplace new, we were trying something different, and we really loved that. Dan was trying to eat more plant-based on this trip and also eat dairy-free. And so the really cool thing is we actually found a couple places, notably Sci-Fi Dine-In and Beaches and Cream, that had dairy-free milkshakes, which was really great for him. So that's why Disney works really well, is because they really cater to allergies or specific, diets that you're on, and it's really easy for everyone to eat out and be able to get those things that they need. It has been requested over on Instagram if Dan can do a whole video talking about him eating plant-based at Disney and what kind of worked and what he liked. And so I've asked him, he's planning on doing that, so that'll be coming up sometime in the next couple weeks. It won't be super soon, but he has said he will do that. So we'll talk about that and all of the specific dining. So the dining worked out really well. The resort was beautiful, as I hope you've seen in all of the videos, and I of course did a resort specific review actually to just kick off the whole video series. I normally don't do any review videos until afterwards, like this video, because I like you to kind of see the experience and then I like to talk about it. But because the resort was so interspersed throughout the trip, I wanted to go ahead and talk about it before the videos aired. And it really was how I kind of designed this trip, for lack of a better word, is I knew that we were going to be there during the summer. I knew that Beach Club had an awesome pool, and I really had in my mind that this would kind of be the ages or kind of be the time where we would shift to a little bit more of that resort focused trip. And that's exactly what ended up happening. A large part due to the heat and due to us wanting to spend time at the pool, but that is definitely what ended up happening. So we really love the pool there. It's definitely one of the best pools on Walt Disney World property. I mean, if you're looking for a really fun resort with an awesome pool, I mean, this is definitely one of the top contenders. We do have a short list, which I'll talk about at the end of this video, of different resorts that are on our radar now that we are thinking we would like to stay at next. We try to not repeat resorts from one trip to the next unless it's like a really, specific reason why we're staying at a resort, like just, trying to cap off like just one night to stay somewhere after we've come back from a cruise, or if we're just trying to do a quick trip just to kind of get some Disney magic in, then those are a little bit less planned or strategically planned, I guess I'd say, than like this trip was. But this trip was definitely strategically planned with having as much resort time as possible and really getting that relaxing time at the resort. So we really enjoyed that. In fact, if I could plan it again, I would definitely just plan another day to enjoy the resort in the middle of the trip. So I'm starting to kind of see the benefit of adding resort days, for sure. But it was very hot when we were there. Like, it was June, so we knew it was going to be hot, but it was like hot for June anyways, because that's just our luck. It was like hot back home, and it was like hot up north, and in Minnesota it was like 90 something degrees. It was just unseasonably hot everywhere. So it was really hot. So we literally, a few of the days, we like went into the park, did a few things, and we were like, it's hot, we're going to the pool. So it really worked to our advantage on this trip for sure. We did drive this trip. We're just not quite ready to get on an airplane, but luckily we live within close enough driving distance so we can still drive. So that worked out well. We did run into a bunch of traffic and traffic issues and wrecks and roads being closed and all kinds of things on the way down. So we ended up getting there about 3 hours later than we had actually hoped we would get there. And we were only driving from Atlanta too, because we had spent the night and gone to World of Coke. And people asked on Instagram, no, I'm sorry, I did not video that. But we did take some pictures, and those are over on Instagram, and had some stories and stuff over there as well. But we luckily did arrive in time for us to do the Mickey tie-dye shirts. With it at this point, in the arrival video, you can watch us make those shirts. And then I've also done a video sharing, rinsing those out. Super, super cute. The girls love wearing them. I'm gonna make one of those the next time we stay at a resort that has them. They're just really, really super cute. So we got to kick it off with a fun activity. We went to the pool basically every single day. We found that really like early in the morning, and by early in the morning I mean around 9 or 10 o'clock, so mid-morning, or like later in the evening after the sun had gone down, were the two times that we really kind of gravitated towards going to the pool. In the middle of the day when the sun was just going to be like amplified off the water, we actually didn't go to the pool during those times the majority of the time. We really just tried to beat the heat inside, in the shade, and those sorts of things. But almost every single night, I think, after the sun was down or after the parks had closed, we ended up at the pool almost every single night. So, goes without being saying, we really enjoyed the pool. The sand bottom was really, really neat. And I know like you hear people saying like, oh, it was really cool, it had a sand bottom. But I didn't really kind of grasp, you know, what it would be like to like walk around on sand. It's a lot more comfortable, you know, when you're walking around on a hard pool bottom, like you're walking around on a harder bottom. So it was really comfortable on your feet. I felt like the water like really like did good things for our skin and hair. I don't know if there's any difference or if that was just all in my head, but I feel like it did really good things for our skin and our hair. I actually did end up having the heat reaction that I've talked about in a couple videos. I'm gonna do a blog and a video on that just so I can talk directly to the people that might be interested in that. And if you're not interested in that, you don't have to sit and listen about it. But I did end up having it, but not nearly as bad as I normally would, especially in this high heat. I did a couple things, like I got compression socks that are back there. I'll show those in that video. Compression socks, I wore leggings to keep the sun off my legs, and I really think going to the pool more often and just for whatever reason, having that water on my legs, cooling my legs off, really helped. So I'll talk about all of that in a dedicated video, so that way it could be helpful to the people that have the same sun aversion affliction, and if it doesn't apply to you, you can just skip that one. But I really have started to find some tips and tricks that help, so I want to share those. But all in all, the heat didn't ruin our trip. In fact, I'd say it's been one of our better Disney trips. And it's kind of funny because one of our other really good Disney trips was in July when we went to Animal Kingdom Lodge. And so you're kind of starting to see a theme there when like the resort's really setting a theme, and it really does make every single trip feel different. So staying at Beach Club Resort, it was really what I envisioned it would be, and it was really just kind of nice and relaxing to walk around, hang out in the room, and have all the amenities that were there. So park-wise, I don't know that there's a lot new that's coming to the parks, but we did try new dining, like I said, in every single theme park. We tried to ride some of our favorites, but rides were really not our main focus this trip. The one thing new that Natalie did ride, and I of course didn't get video on the ride, but I did get video, a little clip afterwards. She did ride Rock and Roller Coaster for the very first time. This was her first time riding an upside down roller coaster, and she loved it. So she rode that for the first time. Isabella would not get on it. And then at Magic Kingdom, Isabella did ride this one. Both girls rode Space Mountain for the first time. So it was kind of neat because we had some firsts. We had, you know, a lot of dining first. We had a couple ride first, even though rides really weren't our focus. And of course, Beach Club was a new resort for all of us. I stayed at Yacht Club a number of years ago for a conference, and the girls were really little then. So I'd always kind of had in the back of my mind when they got older and I felt they could really appreciate the pool, I wanted to go back there. And so I'm really glad we waited until this trip to go back there, because the pool is amazing and they have lifeguards everywhere, but really your kids, especially if they're quick and they just kind of swim away, you cannot see the whole thing from one vantage point. So if they stayed by the sandbar area, which actually our kids did quite a bit, then you could see them there the whole time. But even to go down the water slide, they'd have to walk over to like an adjacent pool area, go up these stairs, and then slide down into like the main pool area. So they're even just that series of events, you couldn't be watching, you know, one kid going that direction and waiting for them at the end of the slide and have another kid going another direction in the pool. It just was not feasible. So I'm glad we waited until they were a little bit older, because I felt like we really got everything that that pool had to offer out of the pool area. We also really enjoyed Beaches and Cream, and I'll save the full review for whenever we do the dining review. But we really, really loved it. Like I said, my husband got that dairy-free milkshake, which he really appreciated because he loves ice cream, but he just really cannot eat the dairy versions anymore. And the girls got that Mickey Pants sundae, which was like huge, and they loved it, and they didn't finish the whole thing, but they thought it was like the greatest thing ever. So a lot of really neat firsts on this trip. It was a very memorable trip. If you guys heard on the last clip, like right as we were walking out, Natalie's like, I don't want to leave. And I'm like, I don't want to leave either. It was a great, great trip, and we really, really enjoyed it. So I mean, all in all, I think the video is you really kind of came across this time as I was editing. Sometimes I feel like I missed certain points where, you know, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have got more of that. But this time, I feel like I really got the essence of what this trip offered. You can kind of see how much time we spent at the resort. You can kind of see some of the activities we did in the theme park. And the theme parks are definitely in the videos less this time, but that's just simply because we were at the theme parks less, so that really came through. We didn't do a lot of shopping this time. I got some like Rice Krispie treats to bring back to give to gifts to people. I got a couple things like Pandora charms and stuff like that that I'll show in a little shopping haul. But really, all in all, we didn't do a ton of shopping. What we did do is bought big things. So the girls got their droids, and my husband got his lightsaber. He was so excited about that. He did like a month of worth of research, and it was like the cutest thing ever. So you gotta love Star Wars nerds. But that was really kind of the main focal point for this trip, and everything else was kind of just the cherry on top. We really planned to spend the majority of our day at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Galaxy's Edge, and that's really what we did. Dan and Isabella took off and did some time while we were in line at Rock and Roller Coaster to use the Disney Play app, and they went around and they did the whole like Galaxy's Edge thing where they could find things and scan them. I was gonna do that, but Natalie didn't seem super interested, and it was really super hot. So I was like, yes, I will take the droids back to the resort and we will meet the luggage, because we were getting our new room. And I'll tell that story real quick because people are already asking on the room tour videos, how did you end up in 2 rooms? But I just volunteered to do that because I was like, air conditioning for an hour sounds great right now. But the Star Wars day was definitely a really awesome day. We've all been really into Star Wars recently. We watched all the movies in chronological order, and then now we're going back and watching all the animated series. So we've all watched Rebels together as a family. We're watching Clone Wars together as a family. And so we're watching Bad Batch. So we're really kind of into the Star Wars story right now, so it was a really good time for the kids to make droids, which they've really loved playing with at home, and my husband to make a lightsaber. I could only get a lightsaber appointment for one person, so of course that was for him. I was just super excited that I found that one appointment. I almost bought myself a lightsaber at the Doc Ondar's store, and I went in there and I looked at him and I was like, I'll probably just buy myself a Pandora bracelet. So that's what I did. I ended up getting Pandora bracelet and charms instead of buying myself a lightsaber. I'm still a little bit jealous of all their Star Wars goodies, so I may end up with a lightsaber yet. But I'm probably just gonna get one of the pre-configured ones, so you can get like the ones that are for a specific character as opposed to making your own. The making your own experience looked really super cool, and my husband and Isabella did a video of that. If you haven't seen that, Isabella filmed it. She did a really good job, and you can tell how excited my husband was as he was making this lightsaber. So it's a really fun video to watch. And we actually found out that there was another YouTuber like across the way from us filming at the same time. So like they ended up in our video and we ended up in their video, or Dan and Isabella ended up in their video. So this is like one of those fun life coincidences. But anyhow, that was a fun video to watch, especially because I wasn't there. So I feel like I got to see the experience then. So it would be a cool experience to do, but they are a little bit harder reservation to get. So, and I think instead of making everyone wait for me to make a lightsaber, if I get one, I'll probably just get one of the pre-made ones. That being said, it's really pretty cool, all the combinations that are out there, all the different things you can do with the kyber crystals. We did end up getting a holocron, so we can put the different kyber crystals in there. If you don't speak Star Wars, sorry. But anyways, it's a little thing you can put the kyber crystals on, and it has different messages depending on the kyber crystal. So that was a really neat thing because it's just kind of timely with what we have been watching as a family. So that was a really great way to start off the trip. We went to Animal Kingdom the next day. That's always a really super solid park for us. We got to meet up with some of our Disney friends. The girls always have a great time hanging out with Annabella and Zoe. And we've met up with Jessica and Alex a number of times. They've been in our videos. I didn't do a lot of filming with all of them. So I know for you guys, you're kind of like, I don't know what happened. But you know, for us, it's just fun to kind of be able to catch up, let the kids just go play and be able to do things in Disney. And so that was really fun time. We went to Epcot the next day, blazing hot that day, but we got to eat lunch in the Mexico Pavilion. That's been kind of like a bucket list item for me, so I'm super excited to check that off. You know, when you're waiting in line at the boat ride, you know, like looking down at the people having like this romantic lunch, then it's just like, oh, that seems so lovely. And it was lovely. I was glad to finally experience it. So that was a good lunch. The guacamole was great. Definitely recommend the guacamole. And it was super hot, so we just went back. We swam a lot that day. I think we went to the pool at least twice, if not more. But that was a really fun day as well. And then we capped off our trip at Magic Kingdom. I like ending our trip at Magic Kingdom because it's kind of like the classic park. I feel like you get to kind of get that send-off with the castle and see it one last time before you're gonna leave. We also got to meet up with Jessica and Alex and the girls that day as well. And that's a really fun park if you're meeting up with people. Magic Kingdom is the park for it because there's so much to do. There's so many different rides to go ride. You can usually find some things that have shorter wait times. And so it's just a really fun park to meet up with people. It was super, super hot. So we actually did not stay in the park as long as we even thought we might. But we went back to the hotel, went swimming again. Are you seeing a theme here? And then we went back in the evening after the sun had gone down a little bit. It was really just those afternoon hours, like right after lunch till like 4 o'clock were just killer. It was like blazing heat coming off the pavement. And so I knew that I could not push myself because if I did, my legs would just be horrible. And I really think that it worked out best, you know, every single day taking a break, and it really worked out well. So that was our trip. We got to cap it off at Disney Springs and enjoy some shopping of it. I think you can hear us saying in the video, like, let's hurry up and go so we can get in the pool last time. So I think you can kind of see what the main event of this trip was. So kind of wrapping it up, what would we do? Where would we stay again? Where do we want to go again? So first things first, would we stay at Beach Club Resort again? Yes, absolutely. We will be back at this resort. We loved the location. We loved the easy transportation. It was so great being close to Epcot. If we stay there again, we will likely do like a park hopper where we can go into Epcot in the evenings. Really convenient to use the Skyliner. One day we actually used the Skyliner from Beach Club to get back over to Hollywood Studios because Natalie just wanted to ride the Skyliner. Super convenient. We loved the boats, we loved watching the boats, just really loved everything about this location. So we would absolutely stay at Beach Club and or Yacht Club again. To make the experience different, we would go stay over on the Yacht Club side because the rest of the family hasn't stayed over there, even though I've stayed over there. But actually, a resort that just jumped up on our radar, which was not previously on any of our radars, but my husband actually said he may want to stay there next, was Boardwalk Resort. And I thought this was so interesting. So they just recently redid their slide and I love it now. I prefer it to the older version. Sorry if you like the clown, but they have a really great water slide, a really nice pool as well. Fun boardwalk theme. Of course, all the shops and restaurants there. And then the rooms are basically kind of the same feel and location as Beach Club, just across the way, where you have the boat access and we're right next to Epcot and you can easily get to Hollywood Studios. So that one actually really jumped up our list because before we'd always kind of been like, oh yeah, Boardwalk, maybe someday. But I think just kind of feeling like what it was like to stay in that area as a family really kind of jumped that one up the list. That being said, another one that's high on my list the minute it reopens is Polynesian. The new rooms with Moana in them are gorgeous. I absolutely love them. I definitely want to stay in them at some point. Would definitely do Animal Kingdom Lodge again, and definitely want to go back there at some point again. We will do Beach Club or Yacht Club or both again. We really love staying in the area. And I know a couple people commented and said, you know, Dolphin or Swan may be a good fit as well. I wouldn't rule out that area too. You know, I did look at the rooms and the rates are really reasonable. And if like we just wanted a different trip and be in that area and that's the feel that we wanted, I absolutely would consider that. So I think Dolphin and Swan aren't off the table either. I actually thought the next resort my husband was going to want to stay at was Wilderness Lodge, but I think it's still in contention. It's still in the running, but I don't know that it's going to be the next one. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know what the next time of year will be. I do know when our next Disney cruise is planned because that has a placeholder on it, or it's reserved or whatever you want to say. We are planning on going in the Disney Wish in 2022. We have dates reserved for that. It's going to be a Halloween on the High Seas cruise. It is the cruise that I wanted to do 2 years ago in 2020, and we're going to do it in 2022. So I'm super excited about that. And being able to finally do a Halloween on the High Seas cruise, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm sure the school calendar is not out yet. So depending on when the school calendar, sometimes we get a fall break in there. So if we do and it hits correctly, I may try to extend to Disney World one day or the other and see, you know, where we might stay. The other area that we drove past numerous times was the new tower outside of Coronado Springs. We went past that and it looks absolutely lovely. So that may be another place that we want to try to stay. And the end result of talking about resorts, you know, we always do like our own trip recap as we're talking about things on the way home and where we might want to stay again, where we might want to stay next. And for our family, what we ended up talking about was we feel like the moderates are a really, really good fit for our family. So like if we just wanted a trip to Disney, we would probably just try to find a moderate and just go stay at a moderate. And the interesting thing that we got to talking about is definitely I see deluxes kind of being mixed in more as we go forwards. They just provide a really neat atmosphere to kind of build your trip around. And especially if you're going to be at the resort more often, it works really, really well. The neat thing that we all kind of decided on and agreed upon is that moderates fit our family really, really well. To this point, we've stayed at almost all the moderates. We have not stayed at the Wilderness Lodge cabins yet, but that's another one I want the kids to be a little bit older because I want to be able to do the golf cart thing and all of that. So for all of the kind of more traditional moderates, we have stayed at all of them now. So I feel like we have a good basis of knowledge of what they have to offer. I really like Caribbean Beach and I like that location, and now with the Skyliner, it's even better. I feel like Coronado Springs is really, really great for certain trips, and actually everyone in my family really liked that pool. So we might try to stay at the tower also at some point just to try something new. I like the Port Orleans Riverside and Port Orleans, New Orleans French Quarter resorts. And so those aren't open right now, but those are good just kind of like cap off a trip or come in from a cruise and stay there type of resorts. So I feel like if we just need an easy, like quick, just get a Disney fix, we'll probably do moderates in the future. And if we're wanting like a big, like build your trip around a certain theme, we'll probably start adding in deluxes. So it was interesting because we all kind of came to that same conclusion. We've tried almost all the values at this point, so we can do a compare and contrast. I think the only one we might swing back around, and I think you can really only call this one in technical, you know, categorization value, is Art of Animation. If we stay there again, I'd like to try the family suites, and then you're talking about prices that are really in the same price range as a moderate or deluxe anyways. But it had a really fun pool and really fun theming. If we're ever in a situation where we want to get a bigger suite, if we have other people that we're wanting to go with or anything like that, we would probably swing back around to that one. But overall, if it's just our family of four, moderates work great. We're really, really comfortable at those. My favorites are probably Port Orleans Riverside, Caribbean Beach, and then the kids really like the Coronado Springs pool. And then for favorites, wow, this is tough. Favorites all time out of the deluxes. So now I've stayed at Yacht Club, Beach Club, Animal Kingdom Lodge, and Riviera. And our whole family stayed at all those except for Yacht Club. And so I'd have to say, out of all of the deluxes that we stayed at, Animal Kingdom Lodge still really pulls in my heartstrings because I love being able to go out on the balcony and see the animals, and I do think that we'll end up there again. As far as the overall comfort level of the trip and how well just, you know, the trip seemed to fit with us, Beach Club is really at the top of the list. So I definitely see us going back there. We really loved it. Now the room that we stayed in Riviera was gorgeous because it was this DVC room, and so it was really big. We had a lot of space to sprawl out, which was nice. We loved the location because it had the Skyliners there. So I don't think you can go wrong at any of these resorts. But if I had to just pick one, this is so tough. If I had to just pick one out of all of those resorts, I would probably pick Beach Club, but I'm a beach girl at heart. So that's a really tough choice. You're kind of making me choose between animals and beaches, but I really love the pool. I thought it was just a really awesome resort. So you can't go wrong at any Disney resort. They're all really great. We had a wonderful experience. I was glad to make tons of memories there. Let me know if you have any questions down below. We'll be doing a full Disney dining recap. I'll talk about all of our Disney dining experiences. I will share a haul of the few items that we did bring home. And then it'll be back to regular day life vlogs and back to life and back to school before you know it. Probably about the time that you guys are watching this video, tax-free weekend in Alabama, which is when you go buy all your back to school supplies, is in the middle of July. So I was walking through Target the other day and they had back to school signs up and I was like, really? We're doing this already? Okay, let's do this. So you'll be seeing some regular vlogs from us soon and also back to school vlogs. So thanks for watching today. Let me know if you have any questions down below and I will see you in another video very soon. Have a great day.